Disturbance could bring some wet weather to the Gulf as we move into next week. Something to certainly watch. We're on your side with potential track and if we'll see any rainfall.
And as we begin a new month, we look back on the month of October and why we weren't the only ones to see the driest October, almost driest October on record.
Plus, we take you around the country where extreme weather has already been taking a toll as we head into November.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
Hey, we welcome you into this Friday edition of First Alert Weather Extra. Lauren, Tania joining us again. We've had a lot of stories, Lauren and Tania, about fallback and daylight saving time and sleep schedules and all that kind of stuff. I believe a lot of it has to do with the leftover Halloween candy. What do you think?
Maybe they didn't get enough.
Maybe not enough to have the sugar crash, right? Yeah. Well, this weekend, a great time to check the batteries in your weather radios. And you can tell the pattern's starting to change a little bit. We are going to have a chance for some wet weather coming back over the next couple of days. Let's go to the next big thing, a live look right now from Irvins in Northport. I just want to show you the temperature there in Northport, 73 degrees out there tonight. As we look at the other areas, Oak Grove showing 70, and we'll take it on over to Nectar right now. You can see a mostly cloudy sky. So we've got a lot of clouds out there. We're not seeing rainfall at the moment, so we will stay dry for this evening. As we go to First Alert AccuTrack, again, very dry. Temperatures in the 70s out there, 68 around Pell City, 72 there at Clanton at this time, but a milder evening for our Friday night. If you're about to head out, maybe go catch a movie, have Friday night plans. Again, no major rain chances out there for tonight, but that unseasonably warm weather is going to hold on for this weekend. Temperatures running well above average, which is in the low 70s for this time of the year. Could see some fog not only tomorrow morning but also Sunday morning, so watch out for that little bit of low cloud fog development. Maybe you want to take advantage of some of this warmer weather, maybe break out the boat, do a little fishing over the weekend. Well, that's going to be an issue. Scattered showers will come back for the middle of next week, so starting Tuesday and Wednesday there's another front on the way. It's going to bring a chance for rain, and really next big thing is what's going to happen with this tropical wave. We've been talking about it for days. There's one more chapter to this hurricane season, it looks like. For tomorrow, though, just want to, before we get to that, show you the outlook for tomorrow. You can see those afternoon temperatures warming up into the 80s. There will be a partly cloudy sky. The wind for tomorrow out of the east-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. But again, a high chance now that we could see a tropical depression or tropical storm Patty form. And the model scenarios, you can see, bring that system to the north into the Gulf of Mexico. So I think later next week this could impact the forecast. This could certainly drive up rain chances if we do see it take more of a northerly path. It will be a threat to the Gulf region here, so if you have travel interest there towards the coast, you'll need to stay weather alert for that system. But the weekend forecast again for us, we have dry conditions for tomorrow and Sunday as we fall back this weekend. High temperatures in the low 80s. But we did pick up a little bit of rain last night and yesterday. Meteorologist Megan Thomas joins us now with a look back at the month of October and how much rainfall we did receive from yesterday's system.
There were 744 hours in the month of October, and we were dry for at least 741 of them. Yesterday, we saw something we had not seen in over 30 days. Yes, rain came through, and I wanted to take back and look at some of these totals. Birmingham picked up a quarter of an inch of rain in that 3-hour period. Tuscaloosa, you actually picked up an additional just over 4/10 of an inch of rain, putting your total for the month of October at about 6/10 of an inch. And notice Anniston still at 0. So with that quarter of an inch of rain that Birmingham saw, it knocked us out of the top 5 for the driest of Octobers on record. The record still holding in 1924. At absolutely no rain. And then number 5 is just over 1/10 of an inch from 1963. Anniston, though, you definitely did tie the record from 1963 as the driest October ever on record. And it's still very dry. The drought's still very expansive across our end of the state. We're moderately dry in most communities. Severe drought still in Greene and Hale counties. So the rain, yeah, it's a good thing.
And we're not the only ones to see an almost record-breaking October. As of October 25th, much of the lower 48 saw less than an inch of rain the entire month. And only 5 months out of the 129 years of records has shown that, according to NOAA, but this wet weather certainly on the way as this is certainly some of the driest weather we have seen across the lower 48, and it looks like we're also seeing those unseasonably warm temperatures, but we'll be talking more about higher rain chances going into November.
Yes, indeed, Wes. Well, it's time to talk about climatology, right? So we are nearing the end of hurricane season. And as you can see, we are currently right here. You know, it's the month of November. It's a little active out there in the tropics. We're watching 3 disturbances, 2 more in particular. And then there's one that we're really watching that could be bringing us a little bit of wet weather later into next week and into next weekend. But we have passed the peak of hurricane season, again, nearing the end. So things should be quieting down for us over the next several weeks. So we'll keep you up to date right here on what's happening in the tropics, and we'll have a tropical update very soon. But I want you to remind all of you that daylight saving time is occurring this weekend. We fall back an hour. It's ending this weekend. So don't forget to change back those clocks. We, yes, lose an hour, but it's okay. Did you know that we're not the only ones affected, though, by daylight saving time? Well, animals feel the effects, too. Even though we may enjoy that extra hour of sleep this upcoming Sunday, dairy farmers say their cows are not a fan of it. Changing a cow's routine lowers their milk production, which affects how much milk dairy farmers can be able to bottle and sell.
It affects them because these cows are on a routine all the time. You see right now, they're waiting to be milked, and it's time for them to be milked. And when time changes, they're going to be here an hour early, not understanding why. When these cows get changed up, they get stressed out, they're going to take some milk out of the plate. When they take milk off, then we've got to get them realigned out on a new schedule to get back on the right milk production.
Well, standard time stays in place until March 9th, when we will then spring forward to daylight savings time. Lauren?
Well, Tania, in Arkansas, a city evaluating damage after a tornado struck Wednesday night. Check out this video of damaged homes in the Prairie Grove area. The National Weather Service confirming that an EF1 tornado impacted the area and had winds of up to 105 miles per hour. Residents surveyed the area yesterday morning after storms passed and talked about how the intensity of the storm came as a shock.
I wasn't expecting this much when I got up. I knew there was a lot of wind, but I didn't expect the roofs to be gone and that. It is frightening for these folks, and I hope and pray they're all okay.
Well, thankfully, there were no injuries reported from the storm, but Prairie Grove Police Department did note that the city also suffered moderate damage to businesses. Though we just wrapped up Halloween yesterday, winter has already arrived, get this, in Hawaii. The Big Island sees its first snowfall of the season at the summit of Mauna Kea, this highest point on the island at 14,000 feet. During the winter months, snow and freezing temperatures are common on the mountain, much different than the rest of the island's tropical climate. According to the National Weather Service, Hawaii's winter season begins in October and lasts through April. Well, don't go anywhere.
We're bringing you the extra look at how science plays a part in our atmosphere. So that's coming up right here. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back in 30 seconds. Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Lots happening this weekend, from games to festivities, like the last weekend of the Oak Mountain State Fair. Beautiful conditions if you're heading out to Pelham to enjoy the fairgrounds. We're going to see temperatures around 4 p.m., low 80s, low 70s though by 7 o'clock, upper 60s around 10 p.m. Not the only event happening this weekend. You have the Moss Rock Festival both Saturday and Sunday. But if you're heading out there Sunday, expect slightly cooler conditions, still nearing low 80s, upper 70s. Partly cloudy skies, staying dry, a little breezy though, with winds topping closer to 15 miles per hour. But a beautiful weekend to be outdoors nonetheless. Next weekend might be a different story. We are tracking some tropical weather that could be bringing us increasing rain chances as we head into next week. But we'll talk more about that when we take a look at the full 10-day forecast in just a bit. But check this out. The atmosphere over the Antarctic seems to be making a comeback. According to NOAA and NASA scientists, a hole that opens each year in the ozone layer over Earth's southern pole was smaller compared to previous years. This improvement is due to declines in ozone destroying chemicals like chlorofluorocarbons. Wow, scientists say the ozone layer could fully recover by 2066. This leads into how greenhouse gases play a huge role in trapping heat in our atmosphere. And meteorologist Lauren Linehan joins us now with more details on that. Hi, Lauren.
Hey, Tania. Yeah, so a big thing is that we've got the ozone layer in the stratosphere, but that's above the troposphere. That is where we live here on Earth, and the troposphere, kind of my favorite layer of the atmosphere. Why? Because that's where weather occurs, but it's also where we experience the greenhouse effect. Now, the ozone layer, it's a good thing up in the stratosphere. Think of it like natural sunscreen for us. It protects us from the sun's UV rays, but the greenhouse effect happens in the troposphere. And it's a good thing. So naturally, we have greenhouse gases in the atmosphere that trap heat from the sun, and they make it a more livable climate for us here on the Earth's surface. But the problem is when humans get involved, specifically since the Industrial Revolution. And that's when we began emitting fossil fuels into the atmosphere. And those fossil fuels are actually, some of them are greenhouse gases. They emit greenhouse gases and they can trap heat and cause additional warming. So if we look at the reconstruction of the global temperature over the past 2,000 plus years, and we can do this because recorded temperature data technically only goes back until the 1800s, but we have a sector called paleoclimatology that allows us to look at things like ice cores, tree rings. You can do carbon dating to get an idea of what the atmosphere was well before the 1800s. And it does show that since the Industrial Revolution, there has been a marked warming across the globe. And with that, what is causing this warming? Well, we have more greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, there has been a 69% warming based from carbon dioxide alone. Methane gas as well makes up 26% of that. That's emitted from agriculture like cows, but then nitrous oxide, which is found in fertilizer, has also contributed. So if we look at those carbon dioxide levels, and remember, we use paleoclimatology to reconstruct the atmosphere, looking back 800,000 years here on Earth, you can see where the carbon dioxide levels have extremely gone up since the Industrial Revolution, and that corresponds to temperature. You have more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, you have more greenhouse gases, the greenhouse effect gets more extreme. And so you see the problem with more warming in the atmosphere. And a lot of that comes from transportation, electric power industry. So it's always a good way to try to see what way we can help our climate and reduce our human carbon footprint. Well, speaking of our environment, according to the National Weather Service in Jacksonville, Florida, volcanic ash was visible over Sarasota, Florida earlier this week. This is due to recent activity from the volcano. Y'all buckle up for this one. Popocatépetl in central Mexico. Upper level winds are pushing the high level ash across the Gulf of Mexico. On the bright side, it's bringing colorful sunsets to the area. That's about the brightest side you can get from a volcano exploding. Meanwhile, across the Pacific, take a look at this shot of Japan's Mount Fuji covered in snow. Unfortunately, that's no longer the case. You see that snow there on that picture? Right now, there's no snow on Mount Fuji. It's now November 1st, and the peak of the mountain remains snowless, something that hasn't happened in 130 years. Snow usually blankets the mountain by early October. Japan's local meteorological office blames the unusually high temperatures for the lack of snow on the mountain. The country recorded its hottest summer on record this year. While still ahead, buckle up again as we take you not just beyond the 7-day and beyond the atmosphere, but also take you back to Earth's surface for a look at your fall foliage photos, straight from the First Alert Weather app. We'll be right back.
All right, it's time for First Alert Weather. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt on radar right now. We are not seeing a drop of rain out there. Temperatures are in the 70s at this time, a milder night on the way. We did measure some rain last night, so we can't say it was a completely dry month. We had a little bit of shower activity. Now listen, it's been warm this time of the year. This is nothing unheard of, but the temperatures are running a bit above average. We see this. We actually warm up a lot of times in November. That leads to those stormy patterns. So tomorrow, yeah, it's going to be hot during the afternoon, but the morning rather mild. Notice around 6 o'clock in the morning there could be some fog, some low clouds around early in the day, and then you can see there for the afternoon there's 3 o'clock, temperatures in the 80s, and no rain expected for tomorrow. No rain expected on Sunday. Looks like that dry weather is going to hold on here for a couple of days, but there will be some clouds mixing in for this weekend. We'll still see those afternoon temperatures in the 80s. Now around kickoff time, showing 76 for the Vandy at Auburn game, 78 Tulsa at UAB. It's homecoming, 79 for the Sanford game, but for all the college games, again, no issues with rainfall for tomorrow. We're not expecting any wet weather, at least this weekend. Now, next week, we'll see a chance for showers coming back around the middle of the week. And the next big thing is a tropical system. Now, a high chance for development, but that doesn't mean this is going to go from a disturbance to a Cat 5 hurricane. It may develop into a depression, could be a tropical storm Patty. That's the next name on the list as this moves to the north. And this is the one area, only one area. I think this is probably going to be the final chapter of this hurricane season with whatever happens with this, but we're going to be watching next week as this lifts to the north. We have models that take it over towards the western Gulf to the north, but even if it's a weak system, a disturbance, there's going to be a front later next week, and I'm thinking it could pull some of that tropical moisture north. All this may phase up as that system starts to turn. So that's what we're watching late next week. We're talking November 9th, 10th, that possibility that we could have greater coverage of showers and storms. You'll see Friday and Saturday. That's why we have First Alert next week for the possibility of wet weather, but that's something to watch. You know, we've been keeping an eye on that for several days. It looked at one point like it may turn northeast, stay out of the Gulf, but the longer these systems, as longer they're out there, there's a greater chance, a window for these things to move north, and that's what's happening. These fronts that are moving in, they're not too potent, just like the one this weekend. It's going to leave us with temperatures. It looks like we're going to be seeing those highs in the 80s during the afternoon, Tania. So this weekend for the afternoons, much warmer, and then that front that moves in on Tuesday, that system kind of stalls out. So this system could end up over the Gulf of Mexico by next Friday, next Saturday.
Yeah, so looking beyond the 7-day, we have increasing rain chances, and that's why, as you see here on our precipitation outlook, November 7th through November the 11th, we're looking at above average rainfall. And we've been so dry the last 30 days, literally, had just a little bit of rain. And even today and last night, it really wasn't a whole lot. We need so much more, and thankfully, we could be getting that. But in this scenario, it could be from the tropics. So as we look closer, and really the first week and a little bit after the first week of November, we do see above normal precipitation, but we're also seeing above average temperatures across most of the U.S. Maybe some below average temperatures for parts of New Mexico, Nevada, and areas like Colorado and Arizona. But as we look here across the southeast, well, we're looking at above average temperatures as well. Our average high right now is like 70 degrees, and we've been far above that. I mean, we have highs this weekend in the 80s. But a bizarre googly eye eclipse is caught on camera, and a supernova spotted in the 12th century gets a 3D update in today's. Take a look at this.
Today we are totally spaced out as we look at a handful of wild interstellar whatnot that's simply out of this world. First, take a look at what looks like something taking a look at us. This so-called cosmic googly eye was captured on Mars by NASA's Intrepid Perseverance rover during a recent solar eclipse. It was a product of Mars' lumpy potato-shaped moon Phobos, passing between the red planet and the sun. If the loopy look looks familiar, it's because it isn't the first time. Back in 2019, the Curiosity rover captured an internet-worthy transit, and that interstellar eye roll went viral. The latest spooky stare from up there may not go viral, but the video did arrive just in time for the Halloween season. Not creepy enough for you? How about this way more intense deep space gaze that comes courtesy of 2 telescopes? What's been dubbed the blood-soaked eyes is a pair of spiral galaxies passing each other in close proximity, relatively speaking. The image combines mid-infrared light from the James Webb Telescope with visible and ultraviolet light from the Hubble to give the passing pair a macabre look as it gazes at us as if to say, "Look upon me and despair, mere mortals." Yes, spiral galaxies do in fact sound like Gandalf the Wizard. It's science, people. Finally, this last one is a trippy and time-traveling taste of what a supernova may have looked like centuries ago. A recent discovery of a nebula led astrophysicists to track it back to what was reportedly a massive supernova first observed by astronomers in the 10th century. Using modern tech, they were able to map the remnants and recreate the centuries-old explosion in stunning 3D glory. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
And before we send you off into your Friday evening, how about this beautiful shot of the sunrise in Pelham sent in from Janet Whitney? Ooh, another good shot too. That looks like that's from Columbiana, from Jackie, another sunrise shot. Love those views.
Love those. And Leanne Wyatt and Clint sharing these fall colors. Nice to see that. The fall colors
that
are
one's
just
pretty.
It's
actually.
a different level
Wow.
this week.
Oh, they really are gorgeous. Ooh.
Oh, Alan Curtis from Telluride?
Yeah, Telluride. Wow.
Up
What
in
a lovely-
Colorado.
Yeah. You ever
That's
been to Colorado?
nice. I have, but not
And,
that
oh
place.
my gosh, I love this. I was just here the other day. Larry Burton sent this in from Little River Canyon. Y'all make sure you tune in to Weather Extra next week. Be working on a really cool story about how weather and climate can impact the fall foliage and, of course, most of the drought that we've been seeing.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's always a difference between if you have a wetter versus drier fall, how that can impact the colors. But I know you enjoyed that trip.
Yes.
I was jealous.
Yeah, not to brag, but it was pretty fun. You'll definitely need to go up there. It's some of the best colors I have seen in Alabama, I think.
I want to go. So next time you should invite us.
Okay. Okay, I'll see if I can work you in. We'll see if there's enough room in the car. How about that?
Okay, that works. That works.
Listen, we got some dry weather coming up this weekend. We're going to be talking about rain chances next week, watching the tropics. Tania will see you at 9. I'll see you tonight at 10 on WVRC.
Have a good evening.